ever heard about the theory that octopuses might be some sort of derivative of alien life? It's not one I heard about until today, but when you consider the amount of unique capabilities and personality traits that they have compared to other non-human lives, I guess it makes sense. Question for you, what's your weird underwater theory? Let me know in the comments and let's cannonball in together, shall we? Alrighty, how about we start off today with the most recent sighting on our list. Deep in the abyssal expanse of the Pacific Ocean, a mysterious circular enigma emerged. Scott Waring, a self-proclaimed UFO researcher, took center stage in this cosmic odyssey, unveiling a revelation that echoes from the depths off the coast of Nazca, Peru. The year is 2022, and the digital lens of Google Earth becomes the vessel through which Waring embarks on a journey into the aquatic unknown. As pixels coalesce to form the underwater tapestry, Waring's gaze fixates on a dark circle, an anomaly nestled in the oceanic embrace. The conjecture unfolds the circular specter, a submerged UFO, its secrets buried beneath the unfathomable depths. Waring's proclamation resounds. The UFO, a colossal entity spanning almost 5 miles in diameter, shrouded in the aquatic mysteries of the Pacific's abyss. The stage expands beyond the solitary UFO. It converges with the ancient whispers etched on the canvas of the Nazca lines. I've talked about them plenty. The tapestry of geoglyphs etched into the very earth of the Nazca Desert. Archaeologists, custodians of the past, have grappled with the purpose of these lines. It's a cosmic dance, a celestial calligraphy reaching towards the heavens. Some suggest an attempt to communicate with deities in the sky, a primitive signal across the eons. Others think, the lines might be more relating to the cosmos, seeing observatories woven into the very fabric of ancient knowledge. Unfortunately, because they're so old, we may never know the true meaning behind them. I've talked about them in depth pretty often around here, so I do recommend watching some of the other alien and UFO videos on the channel to get caught up if you're not already. So it's here, at the nexus of terrestrial and aquatic mysteries, where Waring perceives a connection. The submerged UFO, the unknown sentinel, all tethered to the Nazca lines in purpose or by coincidence? The juxtaposition of the ancient glyphs and the colossal dark disk between the ocean's surface kinda sparks the flames of speculation. Are the lines, etched by human hands, remnants of a cosmic dialogue? Or Waring, because he, like me, believes in extraterrestrials, thinks that the ancient Nazca culture sought communion with the deities beyond the celestial veil. Perhaps beings not of Earth? Aliens? His convictions echo in the digital realm, where pixels and conspiracies kind of converge. Waring's words echo through the channels of his cybernetic proclamations. The disk at the bottom of the ocean is 100% proof of aliens, which is a bold declaration, suggesting that the very technology of otherworldly origin is just hanging up beneath the ocean surface. Something that's been there since long before our digital scrutiny. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are skeptical out there. It's kind of like that shadowy figure in the corner. Critics may dissect the pixels, question the accuracy of the digital lens, and ponder when it comes to the water, the human mind might be conjuring some stuff up where we don't see things already. The submerged UFO becomes an artifact of faith, kind of like a test for believers and skeptics alike. As the mysteries persist, this enigma, a cosmic punctuation mark beneath the waves, awaits the scrutiny of digital archaeologists, cosmic poets, and those who dare to peer into the unknown. Before I accidentally turn today into a UFO fest, which will probably still happen, have you met me? How about we dive into the idea of an underwater alien landing area? The theory stems from a number of UFO sightings near the Solomon Islands, with witnesses claiming the UFOs appear to rise out of the surrounding ocean where warships sank during the Second World War, before vanishing into a remote island lake. This theory was discussed on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens show, which looks at the most credible alien evidence here on Earth. Which, my kind of show. Author Andrew Collins said on the program that there have been reports that objects, strange lights, actually rise up out of the waters into the air and move about for a period of time and then disappear. And often this is either witnessed from the beach or experienced close hand by fishermen, and it is said that sometimes these objects come so close that the fishermen can actually feel the heat as they pass. Another author, Mike Barra, said, there have been sightings of flying saucers appearing over the wreckage, flying into and out of mountains and volcanoes in the area, making the whole area really pretty interesting. Another commentator on the show said that the UFOs are often seen in the ocean, as well as the sky. So, we got a lot of opinions here, and they all agree. He said that people often talk about seeing light, not only in the sky, but in the ocean. You see lights in the ocean, like you can't stress this enough. And they see lights flying past overhead as well, sometimes crashing, once again, into the ocean, like a plane would crash. These sightings have led some to conclude that aliens might have underwater bases in the area, and you might not want to cross paths with the mysterious life forms either. Tim Swartz, author of Conspiracy Journal, said that there are numerous accounts of abductions, people who disappear after coming into contact with said UFOs, never to be seen again. Now, I know the story of Betty and Barney Hill far too well to joke about alien abductions right now. Heck, I've talked plenty about abductions on this channel, and it's a very real and very scary thing. No thank you. Alrighty, back to UFOs we go. The Shag Harbor UFO incident was the reported impact of an unknown large object into waters near Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, a tiny fishing village on the Atlantic coast on October 4th of 1967. The reports were investigated by the RCMP, the Canadian Coast Guard, the Navy, the Air Force, as well as the U.S. Condom Committee, because you gotta have everybody. I also had to research that because at first I thought it was a table for condom and I was busting a gut laughing. Okay, I know. Time for facts. At about 11:20 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Time, at least 11 people saw a low-flying lit object heading towards the harbor. Multiple witnesses reported hearing a whistling sound, like a, kaboom, and then a whoosh, and then finally a loud bang. While en route to Toronto while flying over Sherbrooke and St. Jean, Quebec, at about 3,658 meters from the Halifax International Airport, Air Canada officer Robert Ralph pointed out to Captain Pierre Charbonneau on Flight 305 that there was something strange outside of the left side of the aircraft at 7:15 p.m. In his report, the captain reported an object tracking along a parallel course a few miles away. He described it as brilliantly lit, a rectangular object with a string of smaller lights trailing it. At 7:19 p.m., the pilots noticed a sizable silent explosion near the large object, and 2 minutes later, a second explosion occurred, which faded to a blue cloud around said object. Meanwhile, while standing at the wheelhouse of his vessel, Captain Leo Howard Mercy was looking at 4 blips on his decorator that were stationary. When he looked up about 28 kilometers from the vessel's windows, he could see the 4 bright objects situated in a roughly rectangular formation. The entire crew of nearly 20 fishermen stood on deck and watched the object in the northeastern sky. Mercy radioed the Rescue Coordination Center and the harbor master in Halifax asking for an explanation, and also filed a report with the Lunenburg RCMP, outlining his sighting when they returned to port. So let's go back over to Halifax. The Chronicle Herald and local radio stations reported a glowing object that was seen by many people who were calling into the newsroom. They reported witnessing strange glowing objects flying around Halifax at around 10 p.m. Assuming an aircraft had crashed, within about 15 minutes, 2 RCMP officers had arrived at the scene. Concerned for survivors, the RCMP detachment contacted the Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax to advise them of the situation and ask if any aircrafts were, missing. Before any attempt at rescue could be made, the flying object, with lights still showing, started to sink and disappeared from view. Just in the water and just glug, 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 glug. So, RCMP is going to assemble a rescue mission, ASAP. Within about a half an hour of the crash, local fishing boats went out to the crash site in the waters of the Gulf of Maine off of Shag Harbor to look for survivors. But there was no survivors, no bodies, no debris. Nothing was taken by fishermen, Canadian Coast Guard, nothing. Which, by the way, the Coast Guard search and rescue cutter arrived about an hour later from nearby Clark's Harbor. By the next morning, RCC Halifax had determined that no aircrafts were missing, and while still tasked with the search, the captain of the Canadian Coast Guard cutter received a radio message from RCC Halifax that all commercial, private, and military aircraft were all accounted for. And this was all along the eastern seaboard, in both Atlantic provinces and New England. They were pretty thorough. They're like, okay, we got nothing missing here. The same morning, RCC Halifax also sent a priority telex to the air desk at Air Force headquarters in Ottawa, which handled all civilian and military UFO sightings, informing them of the crash and that all conventional explanations such as aircraft, flares, everything, they'd all been dismissed. We knew nothing. The object was never officially identified and was therefore referred to as an unidentified flying object in Government of Canada documents. Yep, I'm just going to repeat this for a fact because you heard me. The Government of Canada officially confirmed it as a UFO. 2 days after the incident had been observed, a detachment of Navy divers from the Fleet Diving Unit Atlantic were assembled, and for the next 3 days, they combed the seafloor off of the Gulf of Maine, right off of Shag Harbor, looking for anything. Final report? No traces. No nothing. El Zippo. Just saying, it's fascinating that nobody found anything. And that the government confirmed it was a UFO. So, take that, skeptics. Alright, time to go back into the unknown. In 1977, the town of Broadhaven on the Atlantic Ocean coast of Wales was the location of a string of strange sightings that is considered the largest in the UK history. Roughly 450 people in total, according to government records, which is a lot of witnesses, so in my opinion, too many for this to be a hoax. It began with a sighting by 16 school-aged folks in February on a schoolyard of what they called a cigar-shaped object. A few of the witnesses claimed to have seen faceless beings near the supposed aircraft. Other locals began claiming to have also seen unexplainable things around the town, including the creatures without faces. A farming family reported multiple sightings in April and May, and even claimed that 120 of its cows mysteriously appeared on a neighbor's field a mile and a half away. But the rumor of extraterrestrials in Broadhaven truly began when multiple people say they saw a silver disc descend into the sea. with some alleging it entered via a small island just off the coast called Stack Rocks. Could it be, people wondered, that these seemingly faceless beings were using the island as a getaway to their secret underwater base? Look, I fully support the theory that aliens use the unknown underwater territory to their advantage, hiding in the depths that we as humans can't reach. I've mentioned it a lot before, but I genuinely think aliens hang out over in the Marianas Trench because humans can't get to the bottom of that. So maybe UFOs can. I'm ending today with a tale out of Alaska, which tends to be home to a lot of weird stuff. If you don't believe me, look up sea spiders. Forever shuddering from that one. Members of the Mutual UFO Network have made claims about alien bases found underwater off of the coast of Alaska, based on eyewitnesses' reports from decades ago. So UFOologists and UFO enthusiasts have alleged facilities dedicated to extraterrestrials elsewhere in the world, including Dr. Stephen Greer's claim that a mountain in South Korea is hiding a massive UFO. Meanwhile, though, the researchers have focused on the mysterious activities in Alaska, which have suggested that the deep waters could possibly be the hiding spot of aliens. Yes, I get it. To a lot of people, they're like, okay, come on, that's an obvious answer. Alaska, not a lot of people there. But there's researchers that believe there was truth to the claims about alien crafts that were allegedly seen by the crew members of a ship back in 1945. McVean members strongly suggest that ETs have bases in the ocean thanks to the reports of the UFO movement over water witnessed by local residents. The UFO investigators say that they have studied reports of the UFO sightings from the 1940s which were never made public. And that brings us to the end of our time, and I feel like today only added to my fears of what the heck is in the water. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly, and if you enjoyed my ramblings today, could you help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing if you aren't already, hit the bell for more alien chatter from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.